Hey, here's something new gaining momentum in the fashion, jewelry, and tattoo industries. It's called permanent jewelry, and people are lining up outside boutiques, shops, and studios for the chance to wear jewelry that never comes off. Taking a chain of silver, gold, platinum, or any type of metal, a bracelet or anklet is permanently attached to the individual. Wow. Okay, so 2 questions. First, how do you permanently attach a chain? And second, why would you want to? So let's tackle the first one because it's easier to answer. A bracelet is usually attached using a clasp. But in the permanent jewelry world, an open chain link is used to connect both ends and then welded together. Unless you break the chain, it'll stay attached forever. Now for the second question, why? Well, for all the same reasons that drive us to be unique, daring, and bold. A permanent bracelet, like a tattoo, can always remind you of love or forever proclaim your devotion for another. It's like a wedding band that never comes off. How romantic is that? Of course, permanent jewelry can represent more than just love or devotion. It forever symbolizes whatever the wearer wishes. The why is answered by individualism, right? The permanency is, of course, the main attraction, but there are 2 additional benefits to permanent jewelry. With no clasp, the jewelry will never get hung up on clothing, nor ever become inadvertently unclasped and lost. The clasp represents the weakest point of a chain. When you replace the clasp with a solid welded link, you never have to worry about losing something dear to your heart. Is there demand for permanent jewelry? Yes. People are lining up to get their permanent piece. A quick search on social media proves that point. It's a trend that's gaining speed. According to some studies, on average, whenever one person posts a picture or video of their permanent jewelry, it'll be seen by 150 other persons. And thanks to FOMO, many of them will want their own piece of permanent jewelry. The demand is there, and it's very, very easy to jump aboard the permanent jewelry train. But you're thinking, how do I weld a chain while someone's wearing it? Welding requires a flame and lots of heat, right? The quick answer is no. The long answer is, with an Orion Pulsar welder, you can close a chain in the blink of an eye with no harm to the wearer. The welder has a tiny footprint, uses a normal electrical outlet, requires little training on the part of the artist, completes the job in a fraction of a second, and is surprisingly affordable. The Orion Pulsar welder is a micro welder. It uses electricity to heat, melt, and join the 2 ends of a link together forever. The heat is localized to a very small spot and can be touched without harm just seconds later. In short, this isn't rocket science, my friend. It's called opportunity. Here's how the process can work in your studio. Your customer first selects the chain they want. You measure out and cut the correct length, which will leave an open link on the chain. Place the chain around the customer's wrist or ankle. Place a small leather patch under the chain, which will shield the customer from any heat. Using your pliers, close the ends of the link together and then touch the ends with the tip of the Orion's electrode. In an instant, the Orion will fuse the 2 ends together forever. Take the fiberglass brush that comes with the Orion and quickly polish the weld. Then remove the leather patch. Take payment, thank your customer. Then do it all over again with the next customer in line. The entire process, from choosing the chain to closing the sale, is measured in minutes. How much can you charge for a permanent bracelet or anklet? Obviously, that depends on the type of chain the customer chooses. You'll purchase your chain in bulk, and you'll want to have several different styles from which to choose. You'll want to mark up the cost of the chain so the margin covers your time to complete the weld and contributes to your overhead costs. A quick online search shows pricing from $55 to $350 for a bracelet. If you average only 5 permanent bracelets per day, you'll generate $275 on the low end and $1,750 on the high end for every day you're open. That's a significant new source of revenue for any boutique, shop, or studio, and a quick return on your investment in the Orion Pulsar welder, which is small to begin with. How small? Sunstone offers a complete permanent jewelry package for under $3,000. If you do the math, you'll recoup your investment in less than a month. So the decision to purchase the welder is an easy one because it's going to pay for itself quickly. Just pull out a credit card, purchase online at permanent.jewelry, and it shows up on your doorstep. Let's talk more about the preferred types of chain, the how-tos, and customer safety. When it comes to chain, you need to remember that the intention is for the chain to be worn for a long period of time. So avoid plated finishes, such as white gold with rhodium plating. That plating will rub off over time. Solid metal chains are more suitable. The chain design also matters. A complex weaved chain is a non-starter. Stick to simple designs. Why? Because the chain will need to be cut and welded back together. More complex designs will require more welding and become hotter, which can burn your customer. And that would be bad for business. High-carat golds, like 18 karat and above, may be too soft for a fine chain intended to be worn indefinitely. 10 karat and 14 karat alloys, on the other hand, are better options, as they're less likely to tarnish and are more durable. When you're measuring the chain for cutting, you'll want to use fine, flush cutters to cut one link, and then use needle nose pliers to open the link. Then, lay the chain down flat on a table without any twists, and have your customer place their wrist or ankle on top of the chain. Without twisting the chain, pick up both ends and connect them together using the open link. You may be able to squeeze and close the link by hand, or you may need to use a pair of needle nose pliers. Once the link is closed, check for two things. First, verify the wrist or ankle can move freely within the chain. Second, make sure the chain is not twisted. To weld the link together, you'll connect the welder's ground to the chain, close to the link you just closed. Using the Orion welder stylus, you'll touch the electrode to the point on the link where the two ends come together. Make sure the two ends are firmly in contact. The welder will automatically sense contact, and in a quick zap of energy and light, will join the two ends together in a solid weld. You'll want your customer to keep still, because the electrode on the end of the stylus is nearly as sharp as a needle. Any quick movement could poke or scratch them. As the operator, you'll be viewing this process through an ADL, or auto darkening lens, to protect your eyes from the light coming from the weld. Watching many welds without protection can damage your eyesight. The Sunstone permanent jewelry kit includes a pair of UV protective lenses for your customer to wear. You'll want to instruct anyone who may be watching to look away during the weld. For fine chains, only one weld is necessary. Thicker chains may require an additional weld to secure the link. Once the weld is completed, use a fiberglass brush to polish the weld. A quick note about the Orion line of Pulsar welders. There are 4 different models to choose from, each different by the amount of power they can deliver. For permanent jewelry and fine chains, the Orion M-Pulse and Orion 100C will provide all the energy you need. For fine chains, 5 joules or watt-seconds of energy will do the job, and the M-Pulse and 100C easily provide that amount of power. You'll appreciate how easy it is to change settings. Each model uses a touchscreen interface. Simply use your finger to increase or decrease energy levels. The 100C provides more power and energy control over the M-Pulse. The 100C makes the welding process easier, yet at the same time adds a bit more science to the weld. Watch this. You select the metal you're using, then the application, which in this case is closing a jump ring. The 100C automatically sets the power and the agitation, or how the energy is delivered during the weld. So you're welding smarter thanks to the 100C's onboard computer, yet welding with relative ease on your part, regardless of which you choose. Each model comes with an easy-to-read operator's guide and Pulsar welding workbook. The process is truly simple and easy to master, but you should practice first using chain you sell and weld to get the hang of things. If you ever do have a question, you can call Sunstone for immediate customer service. The M-Pulse and 100C are also available with microscope options, which is great for small chains because, quite frankly, you can't weld what you can't see. The optics replace the ADL and allow you to be much more accurate in placing the weld exactly where it needs to be. Plus, they're mounted to an articulating arm that attaches to your workbench. The optics can be swung away left or right or up and out of the way. You can add the optics for a nominal fee. You should know that Pulsar welding requires argon gas. Argon is an inert gas. It's non-flammable, non-toxic, has no smell, no color, and exists naturally in the atmosphere. The argon acts as a shielding agent during the weld, preventing messy oxidation, leaving a cleaner weld. An Orion Pulsar welder is indispensable, faster and easier to use than a solder. Call or text us at 1-801-658-0015 or visit permanent.jewelry. Sunstone, the micro welding expert and permanent jewelry solution provider.